Well, we all know that most Australians, if not all Australians, are feeling the pinch of this self-induced labour cost of living crisis that we're all enduring right now. But one of the byproducts of this cost of living crisis is the impacts on Australians' mental health. Now, I've made mental health one of the key pillars of my platform for the last nearly 9 years. And in that 9 years, I've been able to secure funding to build Australia's first residential eating disorder facility, first one in Mooloolah Valley. I've secured funding to build Australia's first research centre that looks into post-traumatic stress disorder, the reasons for it and how to cure it. There's a lot more work to be done. I was also instrumental in the Coalition's policy in changing how we treat people with severe mental illness, particularly in relation to the doubling of the psychological visits or psychology visits for people suffering from acute mental illness. That same policy was cut by the Labor Health Minister, Mark Butler, back to 10 as one of his first jobs when he became Health Minister in 2022. So mental health for me is a critically important element for Australians' well-being. And I'll continue to work really hard to ensure that not just people in Fisher, but people right across the country have much better access to mental health care. Since I've been in this place, I've been the co-chair of the Parliamentary Friends of Mental Health, and there's very few subjects that are more important to me than looking after our health, and in particular our mental health. I know that this cost of living crisis is having significant impacts on people's mental health, and this government has really abandoned the field. Mark Butler, the Health Minister, does not understand or get mental health. And I want to send a big shout out, a continuous shout out to Greg Hunt, our former Health Minister, who did so much work in relation to the care and treatment of people who are suffering from poor mental health. And we will continue that if we're given the opportunity in the next Parliament. But there's plenty of other things that we can be doing as well. I've been a staunch advocate for the men's sheds and providing appropriate funding to not only build them, but for those that are already in place, to ensure that they get proper funding for their equipment, because men's sheds across this country and across the length and breadth of Fisher do tremendous work in looking after our men. Women seem to be able to talk about problems amongst women much better than blokes, but men often keep things bottled up, and I think that's one of the reasons why men have a higher suicide rate than women do. But this is a void that men's sheds fill, and do it very well, because it's actually caring for the mental health of men, but without sort of the fanfare of saying as much. It's men helping men in a silent kind of way, and I think that that's what most men are looking for. I think it's also very important to ensure that we provide continuous funding for sporting clubs, because we know that if we remain fit and healthy in a physical perspective, that helps us from a mental health perspective. And that's why I've been so keen to ensure that an elected Dutton Government will provide funding to the likes of the Caloundra Cricket Club, the Mullaney Bowls Club, and all the very numerous sporting clubs that will be providing funding for should we win the next election.